Hey, what's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And you guessed it, we have another amazing guest this morning. I just spoke to her briefly backstage, the virtual stage. And please help me welcome Jadis to the show. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. And where are you calling in from?
I am from Colorado currently.
Cool, cool.
Yeah. So it's about 8 a.m. here.
Yeah, well, thanks for getting up early for us.
Oh, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm up way before that.
Okay.
So,
Great. I get it. Geez, what brought you to Legendary? What was it that you were looking for? And were you looking for something at all, or did this find you?
honestly, I've had the entrepreneur mindset since I wanted to be a rodeo star and then an actress and all these things where I wanted to do my own thing and be in control. And I knew when I became a mom, that was like essential. So, my kid is now a year old, so I didn't get any maternity leave paid. I had to basically quit my job as a debt collector after working 7 days a week, being pregnant with him while my husband was in Iraq, mind you.
Mm.
So,
Thank you, your husband and your family, for your service.
of course. And I just knew deep down I wanted something like that, but I didn't really search for it. So fast forward, my kid is about 8 months now, and my husband's schedule drastically changed where I couldn't work a night job anymore. And I'd watch my son during the day. So I was a caregiver actually for veterans. So 2 weeks before my last day, a person I saw on the internet was doing the same, affiliate marketing. And I was like, all right, what is this? And honestly, only slightly I thought it was a scam because she really she gave some truth. And I was like, all right, grabbed her ebook. All right. And then I saw you, Dave. I'm like, okay, I'm in. Now I just got to talk my husband into it. So that's pretty much how it went. I mean, I had the free time anyways. I was going to be quitting that job in 2 weeks. So kind of just worked out well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting because I checked out your Instagram and you're actually now warning people of scammers. Isn't that ironic?
Yeah.
That
Yeah. And I got my account hacked. My 21,000 followers on Instagram got hacked, taken away. I
really?
sulked for about a day and a half. Yeah, the Meta people told me, they're like, it wasn't you, someone hacked you, and they're doing, I'm like, okay. But I always say this, I tell my husband this, I'd rather be fighting the internet than working a 9 to 5.
Mm.
That's just where I'm at. I'd rather be fighting the internet every day for a little bit than working a 9 to 5. So
Yeah. Yeah, I had a guest on a while back that said, "I have challenges, but at least they're my challenges," you
hmm
know?
yeah.
And I think that's what resonates with a lot of our guests, a lot of entrepreneurs, is that once they finally realize that and that sinks in that, gosh, this is hard, but you know what? Nothing in life is really easy, right?
No.
I mean, you know that, being a military, family,
Yeah.
that I mean, that's not easy in any way, shape, or form. And you guys are putting a lot of things on the line all the time to do what you do, even caring for military vets. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. That's great. So, what was it like for you to, finally make that decision, even though you had wanted and desired something different? I guess let me ask, what do you think was holding you back before that?
So I did an MLM before back in 2017. Didn't really care for it. I had to grow a team, wasn't into that kind of life. And I gave up. I gave it about a month and a half of my time and I gave up. Didn't really see many results, but I also just didn't like the community. So I jumped out. Then I went into real estate school online before moving to Colorado State. Took my exam, didn't pass. Wanted to take it again, just decided. So basically, what I'm getting at is I have so many times have tried to do something, right? Entrepreneurship, and then I give up because I felt like back then I really didn't like believe in myself that I could do it. And I'm like, well, I've already failed all these other ones. Like, I don't want to get into another one that I'm just going to do for a while. And my husband's going to be rooting for me. And then I'm like, okay, I'm out.
Mm,
This one was different. This one was, I am so grateful, Dave. I'll say thank you from the bottom of my heart that you created something like this because this is just what I needed. Just what I needed. So when I realized what I had to do day to day and I got more into the blueprints and stuff like that, I was like, oh, I'm hooked. Like, I'm I'm not stopping at this. Even if my account gets shut down, I'm not stopping at this. Don't stop before the miracle happens. So yeah, so it's kind of like we're changing now. You're 28 years old, you're a mom. Let's do something big. So
Yeah. And a lot of us had MLM experience before this. You kind of named one of those differences, which is the, building of the team and then um, uh, cultivating the team. And it oftentimes feels like you're trying to grow a plant, but you don't have a green finger. You know what I mean? It just won't grow, or the plant just won't do what you want it to do. What has it been like now for you to not worry about everybody else and your business model, not be trying to build a team or not, but just really focus on your own actions in creating systems and leverage through the technology and the platforms that we have here? I mean, you said you built an account to 21,000 and it got hacked. Now you're back at it again, building more accounts. I call them digital real estate, right? It's like you're building up all your different rental properties. The cool thing is we don't have to pay for the rental properties. We can just create free accounts. But what would be some of the main differences you see in this, just for people who are brand new, and if they're not really clear, what are some of the differences between this and, say, for example, MLM?
okay. First off, you don't have to build a team. Let's just kind of put it there. The money you make is what you do to make that money. You don't rely on anyone else. So I would say anyone that's coming into this or wanting success in this, right? It's obviously not a get rich quick scheme. Neither are MLMs. But with this one, I think specifically just with you, Dave, with Legendary, you get a helping hand all the time, 100%. Whereas a lot of MLMs you go into, it's very wishy-washy and not as clear, where this is like, we're going to help you be successful. You are going to be successful. These are the steps. Just read them, ingest it, whatever. You have it all there for us, plus the community. So when it comes to this, compared to an MLM, like less stress. I mean, you know what I mean? You're not relying on selling to your friends. When I was doing MLM, I don't even want to say the one I did, but I'm sure everyone's heard of it. But I was like, cold calling or cold messaging, doing all that. And that's what I was taught to do.
Mm.
And I hated that.
Yeah.
It was not. So it's just fresh. It's new. And you don't have to sell to your friends. It's just, and you're not even selling, you're just promoting.
Yeah.
So that's the difference there. You're not selling a product, so it's not salesy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a long explanation, Dave. But
No, that's great. No, I a lot of things came up for me during that answer. I mean, it's one of the main things is, of course, you're not retailing products. A lot of us in former MLMs were doing lotions, potions, pills, and everything in between. Nowadays there's, fat wraps, sex toys, you name it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So we're not retailing any sort of product. We are not building teams. We're not building pyramids. We're leveraging technology the same way that all of these other big billionaires are leveraging technology. Mark Zuckerberg just launched a new platform, and within 4.5 days had 100 million users on that platform. You were one of them, right? In the past, I believe Facebook took 4.5 years to get to, fact check me on that, but no platform has ever reached 100 million users that fast. How? He had a list.
Yeah.
Right? And he just marketed to that list and just let everybody know via email or via their, at this point, he didn't even really have to push it that hard. They didn't have to push it that hard. We're using and leveraging technology. We're instead of having individuals all making lists of friends and family and going out there and talking to their friends and family, we can put up a video and have that reach tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions of people. And we created that. We did that. We were in full control of that. I think you mentioned a big one, not having to chase friends and family, and more specifically, having strategies to reach a cold audience. Have you been surprised by the way that in some cases with past, maybe an MLM friends and family were very cold, even though they were warm, but
Mhm.
but now you're building a cold audience and how actually warm and receptive they are. Isn't that a weird dynamic? And has that been surprising to you?
Hmm. Almost not, Dave. Almost not, just because, you know, when you're selling to people that they know who you are. And so they're already, if they choose not to listen, no disrespect for you, but they probably won't listen. If they know you well enough, they're like, whatever. For
Mm.
me personally, when it comes to, I kind of almost hoped that they would be warm, but I was like, no, I figured this because it's the way that you present yourself. If you come off warm and you come off presenting that this is something that's of value because it's been of value to me, and that's all I talk about is how it's changed my life, I've already get these people that are wanting that same kind of feeling. And so, yeah, we all have the mean people, but I would say honestly, I almost kind of expected it just because last time it was the opposite. And I was like, well, if they don't know me, I think this will be better. I don't know. That's how I kind of thought of it. So,
It's so true. It's like we have a brand new opportunity to make a first impression on people, whereas friends and family, even with a brick and mortar business, right? Brick and mortar business, a lot of times you're trying to get that off the ground by saying, "Hey, come into my restaurant. Come on. Why don't my friends support me?"
yeah,
Support your friends, support your local businesses. I
we're
mean,
like,
that's kind
oh,
of
okay.
that's kind of where that whole, support your local businesses kind of trend came from. It's like, don't buy from, it came from business owners. It didn't come from consumers. It came from
Yeah,
all the local business owners saying, "Hey, why aren't you coming down here and supporting me? I'm your friend, I'm your family, I'm your neighbor. Why are you buying from Amazon?" You know what I mean?
yeah,
That's where it wasn't consumers sitting around going, we should support our local business and go down there and pay double for what we can get on Amazon for half price, right? It's just, it came from business owners like
yeah,
pleading with people to come and, support local businesses. And I actually try to do that. I actually try to support my local businesses because for God's sakes, I do want to drive down the road and be able to get a coffee from a place besides Starbucks. You know what I mean? I
yeah.
like that. I enjoy that. I'm sure you do in Colorado as well. But at the end of the day, business in the economy, in the marketplace, works off of competition.
Hmm.
It works off of competition. And it's always about competing on price, competing on value, right? And at the end of the day, we have to be smart about the business that we go in and ask ourselves, can we actually compete in this business, or are we going to be looking for pity sales? And are we going to be asking and trying to convince and twist people's arms to do business with us because we feel some way entitled to it? Business
Yeah.
in the marketplace doesn't give a damn about entitlement. It cares about value,
Hmm.
value. So what's it been like for you to learn how to deliver value on video? What was it like the first time or in the
Oh,
beginning as you were getting on video, and how did that go?
so, Dave, I've always been in theater and music and
Mm.
choir and dance. So when it comes to being on stage, right, this is how I think of the camera. When you turn that on, you're on stage. I was really scared until I pushed record. And then when I pushed
Really?
record, just like when I step on stage, I'm like, all right, let's go. Um, so for me,
That's
like,
a nugget.
yeah. Oh, I got I almost brought my hat. I'm like, there'll be a moment, but
I that hit me because you very scared until the lights come on, and it's action. And so often we get ourselves so worked up and so riled up right
yeah.
before we actually do the thing. And then you're saying that once you press record or once you step out on stage,
Hmm.
it's kind of like game time and it's time to act. You can't be stuck inside of your head anymore. I
Yeah.
interrupted with a hat throw, but continue.
No, no, you're okay. I think too, there was part of me though that thought, am I worthy of this?
Mm.
Am I worthy enough for people to think that I'm worthy? And that took a lot. I'll be honest, that actually didn't hit me till I lost my 21K. Because when I lost my account, which I'm actually grateful it happened in the beginning of my journey, I was only 2 months in, right? That's not much time, in my opinion. That flies like that. So when that happened, I was like, you know what? No, you are worthy. let's give some authentic, stuff on your media, obviously sharing how to, how to make money remote, all those stuff. But at the same time, that kick in the butt, I think, gave me that encouragement. Like, no, like, turn on that screen. You are worthy of this. Deliver. But in the beginning, I feel like I couldn't really get comfortable, even though it was like I'm not nervous. I still didn't feel authentically me for a little bit when I started this, because obviously you're piggybacking off of the wheel that already works. But if you're piggybacking too deep into that and you're becoming too much of that person and don't realize it, you're not being authentically yourself. And when I became more authentically myself, I got more views. I got more interactions because I was me. And I was like, it's not easy. Like, not saying it's easy, but you know what I mean? It's that easy to feel like you're worthy. You know what I mean? When you see that validation a little bit, and the likes and the comments, and you're like, wow, I didn't steer away from myself at all in this video. So, you gotta be you.
I'm throwing it against the wall.
I get two.
I gotta go get it. I threw it across the room.
Heck yeah.
What you're talking about here is powerful. It's about feeling like you deserve your seat in a way. It's feeling like you deserve to be there, right? It's feeling, as you said, worthy to have people listen to you, or worthy to even take up space out on the internet, right? Take up space on somebody's, which is kind of if we think about it, it's kind of like, oh, really? Am I really worried about that? But yeah, it's a real thing. It's such a real thing. And it goes back, I think, to our, childhood in many ways, where what comes up for you as I say that?
Oh, I won't get too personal into that, Dave, but let's just say that I grew up in a very dysfunctional household, very, very dysfunctional household, where I was ignored a lot. So that's why I went to theater and choir. I felt like I needed to prove myself, Dave. I was like, I'm not getting the validation from my family. Let's go out and find it. So, so constantly wanting that validation, right? Like, I got the lead role, and now I'm in a honor choir, and I'm like, yes, I'm leveling up. And so that's kind of when you say that, that's kind of what brings me to mind, is like, I definitely got that a lot from my childhood, being like, am I worthy? Because I grew up not feeling worthy until I went out of my way to do it. And then that's when I was like, wait a second, you went out of your way to find your worthiness by being authentic and showing your true self. And that's okay. And that's where I gained my confidence, by going out of my way to find my worthiness, if that makes sense at all.
Yeah.
That's what I had to do. So I didn't get it at home.
That really boils. I mean, that is such a great analogy for life, because so often we are putting our worth in other people's hands. And a lot of times, let's just relate it right here to doing these business models and starting an online business. A lot of times when we first get started, we're asking everybody else kind of, do I have permission to do this? I mean, what do you think of this? Can somebody check out my account? And there's part of that that's necessary and totally natural, and everything's normal, right? Nothing's not normal, and nothing makes you a bad or a weird person, but, or a less worthy person. But there is a huge breakthrough that happens when we stop looking for that outside validation so much. It's true. We need to gauge our audience. We, as smart business owners, we need to, acknowledge our analytics. We need to pay attention to the audience, what they're liking and not liking. And if something's not working, kind of stop doing it, or tweak it, or adjust it, or try something new. But at the end of the day, I can't let a comment, I can't let somebody's opinion, friend or family, or somebody out there on the internet, persuade me or make me go and take my chair or my microphone and hang it up, right?
Yeah.
That really hit me, because so often and again, you gave a great example of how that can begin for somebody in childhood, when we're not getting our needs met. Right. And every child needs love, needs attention, needs, to know that they're valued, that their voice matters, that they want independence. Trust me, I'm right in the middle of it right now with my 2-year-old, and I've never seen, I forgot how much we wanted our independence until I've watched him. And
I have a 1-year-old son, Dave. It's wild. Boys, they're a different level.
They are. We are another level.
Yes.
We are another level. I have a 7-year-old girl, and she's very fiery, very independent, but we just process that differently. And boys, I think, are actually more sensitive deep down inside. That's why we build up such tough armor around ourselves with muscles and all these kind of things. So you've hit on beginning to film, to get in front of the, and that started back when you were doing theater and you began to create your own self-esteem and create your own self-worth.
Yeah.
Uh, now I'm sure that was hard and brought up some of those old feelings when you started this, because there is negative feedback. There is criticism. How do you deal with that? And what do you do in response to criticism?
Okay. So honestly, I'm the biggest critique. Like, I'll be honest, those hate comments weren't really as much impactful as it was with my own voice in my head. That was like the critic more than anything. When it comes to the comments of other people, I kind of narrow it down to like, like if they don't want to know how awesome I am and how like this thing I have to show them that it could change their life, that's fine. Like out of sight, out of mind. I block them immediately. Done, over and done with. That does not affect me too much. Although in the beginning there was a very rude comment that got to me for about 15 minutes. But other than that, I think honestly, personally for me, I'm the worst. I'm like, I will put something out there to talk about it, and I'm like, oh, no one's gonna like that. Oh, I didn't execute it well. Oh, like why would people like that and stuff? So I think the hateful comments come from my head, and they're more away than they ever have been, right?
Okay.
Surprisingly, since I lost that account and started a new one, it's not been as bad, which is weird, right? You have that many, and now it's like I don't have that many, but I'm like, no, I'm worthy. I'm good with this.
Well,
But
I've gone through that. I've gone
yeah,
through that of having something in at the beginning when we start to have success in our own business, we feel a new pressure that we've never felt before.
yes,
Okay.
hmm,
We feel a new pressure that we've never felt. And if you're already a perfectionist, if you're already very critical of self,
yes,
if you already are your biggest basher, or you tear yourself apart, or sometimes second guess things, or,
second guess. Yep,
you
like
know, when you start to have some success, my friends, and let's just put all these warnings out there, because this is what this show about. This is what this community is about.
yeah,
Is about helping other people understand where the tripwires and the landmines are. And so when you start to have success, when you start to get an audience, and building an audience is here online. It can happen offline too, right? When you start to have an audience as a restaurant owner, etc. So
yeah,
when you start to build an audience, though, specifically online, and you're starting to get followers and you're starting to get people, engaging with you, there's almost, people start to treat you a little bit like a celebrity, right? Like a mini celebrity. Like, I'm following you, you have followers, right? It's almost like
yeah,
fans, right? And you begin to put this new pressure on yourself,
yes,
and and that can be overwhelming, right? It's a different overwhelm than when you first got started, right? When you first got started, you're anticipating and you're nervous about things. You're stretching new muscles. You're learning technical stuff. You're getting ready to get ready. You haven't pushed the post button yet, but you're gonna. And there's that kind of nervous anxiety
yeah,
of, am I going to be enough? Am I enough? Am I worthy? Am I going to fall flat on my face? But then once you finally do, you've taken us through wonderfully, beautifully, very clear about what the journey looks like.
yeah,
You press play or you press post, and all of a sudden, holy shit, this is going pretty well. Wait,
exactly.
hold on a second. Hold on. What? Hello there. How you doing, world? I'm here. Yes, that's me. Yes, I'm here. Okay,
Yes,
stop it. Stop
hmm,
it. Right.
right,
And now we feel a different kind of pressure, right? And so
yeah,
sometimes when you have you get knocked down a notch. In your case, your account got hacked, you lost an account. Okay. It sort of brings you back to reality to remind you
Yes.
that you don't have to do anything when you're successful any different than when you started.
That's, I'll actually cut you off right there
Please, I'm done.
just to add a point that it's so funny. I was telling my husband that I was like, you know what? Like, I had 21,000 followers, but I was the same Jadis. I was the same Jadis delivering, and I was worthy enough no matter how many followers I had. So how about this? How about I trick my mind into thinking I already have over 21,000 followers? How about I trick my mind into thinking, and that's a whole thing. I mean, if the book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, get in that mindset where you're already rich, you're already wealthy, you're already there. And come from that standpoint and watch it bloom. I'll tell you, watch that bloom if you keep that kind of mindset. So that's kind of where I was at after losing. I'm like, you know what? No, I do still have 21,000. In fact, I have more than that. So getting in that kind of mindset. Yeah. I mean, it's a mind thing, man. That'll get you.
You are hitting the nail on the head with this one because, as a matter of fact, I was just talking about this with our team yesterday. I was talking about your goals more, putting them out there, declaring them verbally, not just letting whatever you want to circulate inside of your head with the other 6,000 thoughts that you have every single day. That's where the thoughts turn into anxiety and they just swish and swirl around in there like a washing machine. But then, most importantly, once you start talking, and whether you're talking about what you want with your audience or talking about what you're doing or talking about why you're doing it, there's just such a power in declaring things and making them real, getting them out of here and getting them out, because in here they're not real. In here they're just self-criticism. In here they're just they're mush. They're marinating in there with all the other herbs and spices. Once you get it out, once you say it, but most importantly, once you start acting like it's already happened.
Live it.
If you want to be a millionaire, if you want to be whatever you want to be in life, start acting like you are already that person. Now, what does that mean? If you want to be a millionaire, does that mean going around and spending money you don't have? Well, come on, folks. Let's not be silly. You don't have the money, right? But it means your posture. It means how you show up to situations. Yes. It means how you talk. It means how you think. A person who is anxious, financially strapped, doesn't, is worried if there's going to be enough money at the end of the month, is acting totally different than somebody who has $1 million or 2 or 3 in the bank account and isn't worried about money, isn't operating every element of their daily life based on, can I spend this?
Can I spend this?
Can I do this? Can I afford this? Can I
have enough gas to get me to work to last through the week before I get paid? That was the main thought.
The truth is, you've always had enough gas. You've always been taken care of. You've always been provided for, right? Always. There's never, ever been a time, besides maybe when, as you stated, you were a child and you were unable to provide for yourself. But as an adult, things have always worked out. Well, how do I know that? Because you're living and breathing right now. Because you're listening to this damn show on the freaking internet.
Yep.
Because you got enough disposable income to afford Wi-Fi or a damn cell phone.
Yep.
Because you got food in your belly and you're here instead of somewhere digging through a garbage can, looking for a meal. That's how I know you've been provided for.
Yep.
Now, if you want to call that God providing, if you want to call that the universe, if you want to call that just, whatever you want to call that, you're free to call that. But the truth is, you've always been provided for. And so when we begin to free our mind of the thoughts that swish and swirl, we begin to declare what we want, who we are, what we're doing, our mission. And then we begin to act as if it already happened. We already are that person. We
Yeah.
already are successful. We attract a hold that we're putting out different energy. Therefore, we are getting back different energy. Is this resonating with you?
Yes, no, and I think just to like kind of go backwards here, I think surrounding yourself around people that not only believe you but have also been successful will get you in that mindset, and that's what this community is here for. When they always say if you want to be wealthy, surround yourself around 6-figure, 7-figure earners. Well, guess what? Here we are. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Right.
but
No
for
doubt.
me, I think and sorry, I don't mean to mention money, but I'm just kind of getting,
Fine.
if you want to be wealthy, be around people that have already been successful in this business and see what they've done. Don't rewrite the wheel. But I also say too, to make it a little exciting for everyone, right? If you're in that headspace where you're like, no, I don't have that many followers, whatever. If you're already acting like it, a way to help yourself, grab yourself a journal, make a collage. I have a dream board on my phone and on my laptop from Canva. I made a dream board, and I also, if I'm ever feeling stuck in my head, which still happens, Dave, it always happens.
Of course.
I'm still getting a little stuck in my head. I'll pull out my journal and I will just write as if stuff's already happened. Like, wow, like after a year of doing Legendary, I've done this and this and this. Or wow, we bought our dream house in here and we've done this. And by the time that this date hits, I've already reached this. I'm so amazed. I'm going to mastermind to talk for. So I'll write that stuff as if it's already happened. And it gets me excited because I'm not just writing it. I'm there in those words when I'm writing it. And then I'll leave that journal and I'm like, all right, girl, you got this.
Yeah.
You got this. Let's go.
By the
So,
way, there's no issue with talking about money. It's just giving people the full idea of
yeah,
how you got the results that you got, and giving them the full picture, and helping them to understand how long we've been doing things.
right.
Since we've got 517 of you on here, there's no issue with making money, or talking about money, or talking about the results that you're getting for whoever in your niche, or the results that you're getting in your niche. It's just about giving people that full picture, right, of
Yeah,
what it really took in order to achieve that. And for most of us, we're 10-year overnight success stories, or we're 1-year overnight success stories, right?
right.
Many of us have been on the journey, or I would even consider your MLM days preparing you for this now. All that work, all that learning, all that, everything that all of us have done in our lives have prepared us for this moment right now. So
Yeah.
there really is no overnight success stories. I want to switch gears and ask you, how did you decide to, I assume you're in the make money online niche just from looking at your content. How did you decide to go into this niche, and what are some of the tips, or just give us your experience? I mean, how did you make that decision, and why did you are you passionate about it? Is it something that struck you in the content that you were like, hey, this is a hot niche, or I get it, the big three niche: health, wealth, and relationships? Talk to us a little bit about your niche selection, and kind of filling out that fishing formula business plan, and deciding, hey, I'm going to target this specific type of species, and I'm going to sell this specific type of product.
It was easy. I grew up in a very poor household, in a very poor mindset, and a very talking about how much money we didn't or did have. And that was something that was just prominent in my life the whole time, of how broke we were. And we couldn't, my mom would even tell us straight, like, you're not getting any Christmas presents this year. And that happened several years where we wouldn't get anything. And so growing up in that poor mindset, I always thought it's not obtainable. There's no way that I can be a wealthy person in this world, because I've been shown that that's not possible unless you work a corporate life, or go get your degree and go get a corporate job, or for some reason you've met someone that gives you this giant business and you're wealthy. And so I was living a paycheck to paycheck, honestly, for a while, where, like I just told you, yes, I lasted. It always worked out. I always had money, always was fed. But when you're always checking your bank account and there's 16 cents left to last you until payday, and that's 5 days from now, and that happens several times, and you have zero in savings, hell yeah, I'm going to do the wealth niche. Hell yeah, I'm going to show people, no, I was there too. Stop thinking it's not possible for yourself, no matter where you come from. Work hard, learn what is given to you, and apply. And not only that, believe that you are worthy of this. And that's something that I just didn't do for years. I didn't believe I was worthy. And so when it came to the wealth niche, I was like, oh yeah, That's the one, because I can relate to that tenfold.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm coming from with that one. Yeah.
Well, girl, I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. And I was in a very similar spot when I started. I had just come from addiction and homelessness and just being at the bottom. I was under the barrel. There's the bottom of the barrel, and then I was under the barrel. The barrel was sat on top of me. And that's how I felt. I didn't feel on top of the world. I felt like the world was on top of me. And so, I, it was very easy for me to, to see that I wanted to be a part of not only changing my financial future, but I also wanted to, in my financial current situation,
Yeah.
but I also wanted to share that with other people because I knew that so many folks out in the world grew up in similar homes, grew up hearing things like, what do you think money grows on trees?
Yeah.
We can't afford that. As I became an adult, I really asked people, particularly my wife and for us not to say that we couldn't afford something, for us more to say maybe we don't have the resources right now, but hey, let's figure out how to get them. Right.
Mhm.
I
Right.
mean, I wasn't, usually we're not saying to our spouses or whatever, hey, I'd like to go move into a $25 million mansion, right? Back then we were arguing about hiring somebody, a cleaning service to clean our house,
Yeah,
right?
I remember that. Yeah.
And it wasn't really like, that's not a huge stretch. You know what I mean? That's not like something that's unobtainable for anybody in the United States of America to achieve that if you have the abilities to be able to work.
Yeah.
That's an extra $100 or $200 a month, and maybe even cheaper in some places. I don't know. But I mean, now we've got quite a few houses that we circulate in, live in, work in, hang out in, and somebody cleans each one of them.
Yeah.
And
I mean, yeah, that's our plan. We want to invest in real estate as well. I mean, that's kind of, we're buying our first house this summer in like a
good
month.
for you. Good
So
for you.
yeah.
And so saying things like changing language, tweaking language. It's not like you need to go in and change. You don't need to walk on eggshells, and you don't need to ask others to walk on eggshells either. It really starts with you. It really starts with you. If you want to be the entrepreneur, despite what your spouse is or wants to do or how they think, for you to start using different language. Hey, I don't have the resources, but I'm resourceful as hell, and I'll go and get them. Right. Or not today, but maybe tomorrow. Not this month. Let's work for it for next month.
Yeah.
Right. Let's try to make that happen by the end of the year. It's about, instead of just putting a period on the end of something, right, and saying, I can't afford. I mean, first of all, can't is I just want to erase that word from the damn dictionary.
Yeah. Yeah.
My daughter's dance teacher makes her do push-ups if she says can't too many times. She's not running a military. She's not a drill sergeant. Child 7, but there's some consequences for language, right? Not bad words, not saying shit or damn, right? I would rather my ears perk up more when my daughter uses I can't language than if she says shit or damn. Be honest with you. It's just where I'm at
Yeah.
in life,
Yeah.
right? Where I'm at in life. And that's because I understand the power of how our minds can attach to those ideas, especially at a young age. And we begin to build belief systems around those things that we declare. Because we were just talking about a minute ago, what
Yeah.
you say
Mhm.
actually is the most powerful programming for your subconscious mind, because your dadgum thoughts are already in there. Okay.
Yeah.
They're already circulating in there. But when you take it out and actually say it, it's like going in like, putting specific focus on one of those thoughts. It's like, okay, this is the thought. When you choose to say something, what you say, this is the thought that I'm hanging my hat on today. This is the thought that I truly believe the most out of all of the thoughts that are circulating in my head right now, or the thought that I want to come true the most, or the one that I'm speaking into existence the most.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So that's why our language and how we talk, especially about ourselves. So let me ask you, how have you changed, or how are you changing or becoming more aware of how you speak about yourself? You spoke a minute ago about about the second guessing and the self. You're your biggest critic.
Yeah.
How do you change that for those who can relate to that? How do you begin to work on that? I always say you act yourself into a new way of thinking, but
Right.
there's certainly some things that are happening in between then. How are you changing the way that you view yourself through both, how you speak about yourself, but also how you act? And what advice would you give to people who can relate to that? I'm my biggest critic.
Well, I don't know if people can relate to this, but this is just my story. When I am my biggest critic, I don't eat well, I don't sleep well, I don't go to the gym, I don't drink a lot of water, and I'm crabby. I exuberate what I'm feeling in here everywhere else. And when I noticed that, I came to terms with being like, no, no, no. Because when I'm in a good mindset, oh, I go to the gym. I do all these things that make me happy and fulfilled when I get back in that mindset. So again, kind of leading back to the notepad, like, even if you're a busy mom like I am, I'm a stay-at-home mom with a wild child that's a boy. Okay, so I don't get that much time until my husband comes home. But when he takes those naps or those little spurts, I will grab up my phone and pull out my note app, and I'll just be like, you know what I mean? Like, you are successful in this, you will be successful in this. And I just kind of like reflect on myself. It's that manifestation. Say it into a note. If you don't have a notepad, write it down, get yourself back in that headspace again and understand that you're worthy. And it clicked with me though, because when I wasn't thinking when I was getting that bad headspace, it was revealed all on the outward self as well. And I was tired of it. I'm a mom. I shouldn't be crabby all the time. I should be doing what's good for me to show up for my son, right? And when I was getting that bad motivational mindset, I wasn't being the mom I wanted to be, or the wife I wanted to be, or the person I wanted to be, So if you remember that, that's the kind of where you go. Don't go back, dude. Like, just remember where you go when you get to that headspace. So if you can analyze that, you can work from there and being like, no, this is crappy. Like, so
Girlfriend,
yeah.
you are really saying some powerful stuff. You're bringing me back to some basic things that I learned in drug rehab. And I still really, some of the best advice that I've ever got, which is halt. Hungry, angry, lonely, and tired.
Yes.
And these were relapse prevention tools, right, that they gave us. And that, 12-step groups and people in recovery are aware of these as well. This is not a new concept, but that's what came up for me as you were talking, because, and I love that you gave just such a very practical answer to that question, because you're right. How we're thinking, our outsides, I guess, are a reflection of how we're thinking about ourselves and how we're
100%.
thinking about our place in the world. And so surely if I'm beginning to, gain weight, or I'm not taking care of myself, not because of genetics or some sort of a thing that you may not be able to help if you have some sort of a health condition, but if it's as a result of overeating, if it's as a result of not exercising, if it's as a result of not, not drinking enough water, not getting enough sleep, your stress levels go up. There are outside red flags, right? And quite frankly, how you're treating your body, how you're treating others too, right? I think you mentioned crabby. Get a little grouchy, go
Oh
off
yeah,
the
I'm
ground.
crabby.
Absolutely, I do too. And you're right. That usually, excuse me, let me be more precise. That is never me being crabby, me being grouchy, me even being mean, is never, ever about somebody else.
Oh, never.
It is never about what you said or what you did. I know better than that. I know that you're not that powerful to make, because if you were, some people have pissed me off so much, I wanted to do the deed. Okay. I wanted to take them out. Okay. I wanted to make a phone call. I wanted to hire a guy, look, I want, if other people's actions affected me that dramatically, that powerfully, then we would all be in jail.
Yeah.
Okay. We would all be doing 25 to life, right? Taking people out.
Yeah.
But we know better. We know better. And so those outside symptoms that you mentioned are such a simple and practical way to be able to gauge where we're at mentally.
Yeah.
And what else is coming up for you right now as
I
I'm
mean, honestly, Dave,
reflecting back?
I'll be honest with everyone on here. I cried last night to my husband about this because, I mean, I'm just going to be so truthful with you right now. I don't care. When I knew that I was going to come on the show without my account, I was like, I am so not worthy. And I got in this hole. My husband just reminded me and he brought me out of it. He's like, honey, like you are worthy. You are going to make it. You already have made it. And, that was late last night. I'll admit I was crying for a bit, but again, I exuberated, how I was feeling outside. I was feeling, on the inside more than anything, and just came out.
Mhm.
Sleep deprivation hit me, and it was just, and the nerves. And so that's kind of what it shows up to me when you said that. I was like, honestly, it happened last night, but I'm human. We go through this, guys. You're not going to be perfect all the time. I mean, in fact, we're not all perfect, but you're not going to have the perfect kind of mindset all the time. And you have to understand, how can I get myself back there again? And just be prepared next time. You know what I mean? If you start to fall off the wagon, I haven't gone to the gym in 5 days. Where's my mindset at? Where's my mindset at? You know what I mean? How am I feeling about myself? And so it's addressing that and just catching onto it quickly. And you're like, okay, but it gets easier as it keeps happening. In my opinion, it gets easier.
It does. And then it gets harder, and then it gets weird.
Yep. And then it gets funky.
Yeah. And then it gets easy again. I mean, we are dynamic human beings. And I think that sometimes we really suppress our humanness, and we don't embrace it. We suppress it. We try to hide it. And it is certainly and absolutely a part of the process of internet marketing and owning a business, to go through challenges, to go through major challenges. In this case, to get your account hacked and lose an account. I mean, it's just such a major. It's such a normal, regular human thing. You've got people out there who are full-time job hacking people and doing shit and, trying to sabotage other people and trying to steal from other people. And, and just sometimes just bad mistakes happen. Sometimes we make mistakes. We say dumb shit. We do dumb shit. We self-sabotage ourselves. These are all part of our human journey. And what I have found personally, and I think this is the big secret that I've gotten, that so many of my quote unquote copiers and competitors over the years, and I got a few of them right now. I mean, I got a company who hires everybody that we fire, and they so desperately are trying to be like us. Winners focus on winners, losers focus on losers focus on winners, though.
Yeah.
I have to remember that I'm human, and that my biggest strength is my mistakes and my challenges, and more so what I did during those times, how I overcame those moments, what I did in those moments, what you did here by having such a difficult challenge that you went through, and then to go through all the emotions and all the feels and all that, and then to actually show up today and kick fucking ass with me on this show today. I mean, just show up and just crush it. I mean, show up with doesn't matter how you're feeling. You just showed up despite your feelings. And to me, that is way more like, I want to follow you. I want to listen to you. I want to learn from you, not because of what you have done in the past or what you had in the past, but how you're dealing with this moment right now. And this is now a part of your story. You know, this is now a part of your journey. You can take this moment, this situation, and how you handled it and what you did, and the fact that you were then on a live interview podcast and absolutely kicked ass, right? As part of your story, not only to build your own confidence, but also to share with other people, because that's inspirational.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's badass. Nobody wants to hear about how something came easy. Nobody gives a shit about, you know, anybody's overnight success, because deep down inside, we know that's the scam. Nobody achieves anything easily. And so when we talk about this real shit, when we talk about what actually happened and what the journey was actually like, and although it's been hard, and although it's been full of ups and downs and emotions all around, I'm still here, baby. I'm still here, right?
I'm back. I never left.
And I'm better than ever, right?
Yes.
And that is what is inspirational. That is what is powerful. I mean, when we hear people sharing their stories of overcoming tragedy, trauma, abuse, accidents, all these things, and we see them just sitting there talking about it. Person doesn't have to be up there or on video or anything doing cartwheels or backflips or doing anything crazy. They're just dadgum talking about it. It's inspirational. What's coming up for you right now?
I mean, if you already know that someone has great success in the beginning, I'm not listening to you. Like, I will be jealous of you, okay? But I'm not going to listen to a word you have to say because you didn't go through any challenges. I mean, Dave, wow, I was so attracted to Legendaries because of your story, right? That's the hook, is you're sharing your story of you came from nothing 10 years ago, almost 11 years now. Wow, that went by fast. But, you know, for me, it's like, this was not, you know, and I think when I do get a larger following, I will reflect back. I actually just posted this thing. I got so many views, posted about how I lost my account, and I shared my journey. I was like, you know, what's so great about this though? Already had my business set up, still was making good, you know? And so when I shared that, I got a lot of views, more so than a side hustle that I posted, because I was being relatable. I was showing, hey, like, this is real life right here. I'm not just this influencer that you see. I'm a real person. Shit happens. And it happened to me. Here you go. But I had more follows, more interactions, everything because of that. They're like, oh, this girl's being real right now. So yeah, that's what came up for me. I mean,
Jadis, I am fired up here, ready to run through a wall. And, you know, I am grateful for your story. I'm grateful for your challenges. I'm grateful that you cried on hubby's shoulder last night and got it all out and had all the feels and had a human experience. I'm grateful that you shared that with us today as well.
yeah.
I'm grateful that you showed up and talked about all the other vulnerable things that you talked about, because there was incredible learning, incredible lessons, incredible experience, incredible relatability there, incredible identification from both me and I know so many other people here who are listening. And so thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank your family and you and your husband for your service to our country. Means a lot. Means a lot. You're the best of what America has to offer. And so I appreciate that. And come back and see me and keep me posted on your journey, okay?
Oh, I will.
All right, my friend. We'll talk to you later. Stay legendary.
Bye.
All right, my friends. There you have it. Another episode. Does not get any more real than that. Stay legendary, my friends. We'll see you back here tomorrow for another episode.